As would like to welcome you to the first of series talk by our UST President, Professor Dr. Prem Kumar Rajagopal, on a very interesting topic of PhD wisdom. Interesting because we always think PhD as just hard work to obtain the title doctor. Interesting because we have heard about PhD journey and PhD adventure. And today, we are going to hear about PhD wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome MUST President, Professor Dr. Prem Kumar Rajagopal, to deliver his talk. You're mute.
Oh, we can't hear you. You're mute.
Okay, good, Govind. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon to all of you. And thank you, Dr. Carey. And Malaysia Institute of Science and Technology has initiated this talk on PhD. And for the first session, I choose the topic as wisdom. Yeah, PhD wisdom. Yeah. This is basically, I'm going to take you all through my experience in taking through PhD. The challenges that I saw, and what is the real outcome of the PhD eventually. That's what I'm going to share with you. It's not going to be long, just like a coffee talk. Yeah, we are just going to spend about 30 minutes. Yeah. And then if you have any question, then I'll be happy to take your questions. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah. Are you able to see my slide now?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, sir. Right, yeah. Great. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let us look at it. What is the real purpose of doing a PhD? Many of us may have, opinion that, doing a PhD is the highest level of in the academic world. And some may be thinking that doing a PhD enables a research career. I want to be take up a career in research. For some, a PhD may be a community respect in certain cultures, and also in communities. Well, when you're doing PhD, it also establishes relationship with other PhD candidates, relationship with the professors in the respective field. Be connected with the university for resources for 4 to 5 years. And for some, it is a training. Yeah. So for different people, it means different. Yeah. So, but when you come to a university, what actually you are trying to achieve? The goal of the PhD is to train you to become a professional researcher. So the university prepares you to become to give you the platform so that you can eventually end up conducting research in your own field and being accepted, your work being accepted, not only in the university, but across the globe, especially by the international journals. So by end of the PhD, you should know all about your own chosen field. And you should care enough about your field that you are constantly thinking of new ways how to improve. So not only just a PhD, finishing a PhD, but also constantly thinking about what are the new ways that you can think of to improve the processes in the given field. Or you should know how to sell those ideas that you have in your mind to your research community. Yeah. Well, if you are interested in the research topic and genuinely want to deep dive to become an expert in the field, yeah, I believe that most of the students are looking towards this. And also, you want to improve your technical abilities in the given domain. A PhD in engineering, PhD in IT, PhD in business, PhD in management, well, it's a domain by itself. And also you want to build the confidence that you are able to analyze, and the methodology and the tools and techniques that you use to analyze, to solve a problem and deal with the unknown things that in your daily job, especially if you are taking up your career as an academician. Now moving on, I call this like a pulse. In conducting your study, you need to take note that if you want to make a quick check on your work, please ensure that your title, the problem statement, and the purpose or the aim of your study are all well synchronized. A very quick check to see whether your work is appropriate, well organized, is by looking at the title, looking at the problem statement and the purpose. Are they in sync? Are they talking the same thing? We don't want to see two different languages. Yeah. So the problem statement is cardinal in research. The main thing is like the vertebral column that holds your body. Yeah. It makes the reason for research to be known. At a glance of problem statement, research contribution to knowledge and the knowledge gap that research findings will close and be conceived. So the research problem statement is absolutely important. Even when you go for a proposal defense or a viva, this is where the examiners are going to keep on asking you until they're clear that this is your problem statement and this is what you're going to study. So consistency in the title, problem, purpose, and the research question to improve the logic of your work and also the transparency of the research. When these components of the research are well aligned, and then you can think about what is the design, the methodology that you're going to bring in, and how you're going to plan your work, what type of sampling you're going to take, what type of treatment or the softwares or the type of statistical analysis that you're going to bring in, the inferential analysis that you're going to bring in, and more coherent, and the research reports are more readable. Yeah? So this title, problem statement, and purpose of the study, they must be in sync. That's what I put there as thesis pulse, a quick check. Now, for those of you who already attended the research methodology class, or for those of you cleared your proposal defense and also finished your viva, the problem statement. The first thing that we look in the problem statement here is a specific issue aimed to address. Number one, the practical problem aimed at contributing to a change. The theoretical problem that we are aimed in expanding the knowledge, the body of knowledge, the existing body of knowledge. And also specifically looking at the gap in the knowledge that you will see in your research. Next, without a well-defined research problem, you are likely to end up with an unfocused study. At one section, you'll be talking about this efficiency. Another section, you'll be talking about efficiency. You talk about effectiveness. Then you talk about responsiveness. It's not focused. If you're talking about responsiveness all the way through, you need to talk about responsiveness in the practical aspect of in the industry. Then you need to bring in the theoretical problem of responsiveness, and then you fill in the gap in knowledge. You might ending up repeating what others have already said, trying to say too much, or doing research without a clear purpose. If you don't get this right, these three things right, this is the problem that you're really facing. You tend to take up from literature, A, B, C, D, put it together, consolidate, but then still the purpose is not clear. So you need a problem statement in order to do the research that contributes to new and relevant insights. This will be a contribution. Normally, the examiners will be asking you, what is the outcome of your study? What are you trying to contribute in your study? Yeah. There's some people waiting for me to be accepted. Yeah. Okay. Now, practical research problem. Yeah. The one I mentioned here, right? Practical. So I'm going to go into these three areas a little bit slight detail. What is a practical research problem? You might look for example, issues with performance of or efficiency in the industry. You may be looking at a balance scorecard and see how performance is measured using the balance scorecard versus the typical finance and accounting models. Or you may want to look at efficiency by using some automation processes or processes that could be improved by using IR4. So these are practical research problems. The areas of concern among practitioners in the field, in the industry. What do you see in healthcare today? What is the real problem that you see in the healthcare today? Yeah. Difficulties faced by specific group of people in the society, like B40, you want to know what the issue. The B40 is expanded, or the M40 has come down to become B40. Specific groups in the society. So that is a practical research problem. What is a theoretical research problem? A phenomena or a context that has not been closely studied yet. There's a phenomena, but it has not been closely studied. A contradiction between two or more perspectives from the theoretical standpoint, like the agency theory, you see the agency theory being applied in corporate governance versus the stakeholder theory. The agency theory says the principals and the agents, the owner of the business and the people who work for the business. Whereas the stakeholders theory says, oh, you need to respect the employees who are working in the organization. So there's a contradiction between these two theories. So how does the theory works in the real world? A situation or a relationship that is not well understood yet. Everyone is talking about Industry 4.0, but how does Industry 4.0 helps in the service sector? To what degree it can be applied? Can all the 16 pillars or 13 pillars or the 9 pillars be applied? You're still not very sure yet. Or what will be the right chosen pillars to be applied in the theoretical research problem statement? What is the right pillar? So you want to analyze that. A troubling question that has yet to be resolved. There's a question, but it has to be yet to be resolved. Yeah, many people are asking about a question. The context and background. Who does the problem affects? In what context does the problem work? Yeah, if this is the problem only for a particular sector or industry, then to what is the degree of the problem? How do I measure the degree of the problem? Has it been an issue for a long time? Or it is just a newly discovered problem in the industry? What research has already been done? How much of studies has been conducted? Have any solution been proposed? Yes or no? What are the current debates about the problem? Or there are some theories, yeah, we need to know. Yeah. What are some of the recent things that we look at? What do you think is missing from them? So these are the areas, the context and the background that you need to look at. Now here are the some of look at the research territory. For example, you can put in this kind of question. Has efficiency or Industry 4.0 been extensively studied in the manufacturing sector? There is a growing interest, yeah, in the field of exploring responsiveness on time delivery. Recent studies have focused on the AAA, agility, adaptability, and alignment of industry towards the supply chain. Today, the COVID-19 situation has become a major issue for manufacturing sector. Okay. Establishing the niche as a research, yes, you are trying to generalize the whole situation, but then you need to go into the niche in order to make it generalized also. So, for example, you start with the word previous studies has focused on blah 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 blah, but however, this particular area has not been examined yet. Such studies are unsatisfactory because previous study has been conducted, but they are very unsatisfactory because there is a change in technology. Digitalization has come about. There are many new digital technologies that has been applied. Or you can say, one question that needs to be asked today, however, is, are the people ready to take up Industry 4.0? Or is there a talent pool to adapt Industry 4.0 in the service sector, specifically in healthcare industry? Research on Industry 4.0 has mostly been restricted to manufacturing sector. So, what is the extent of its application in the hotel industry? So, this is how you establish the niche. Yeah? Occupying, how do you occupy the niche? The purpose of this literature is to explore the existing body of knowledge, yeah, in the field of corporate governance. The study aims to, yeah, the evidence collected from this study demonstrated that the review outline examines. Okay, these are some of the ways how you start to occupy the niche. Making approaches for writing the problem statement. Now, you want to write the problem statement. What are the approach? Making a factual claim. You're bringing facts. All those scholars have done this. They have not done blah, 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 blah. Making a claim of value. Scholars have looked at efficiency, but they have not considered responsiveness and its connectivity to efficiency. Hence, this study will focus on responsiveness because this area is not examined closely in the field. See that? So, making a claim for value. What is the value of responsiveness in while you are conducting a study on efficiency? Making a claim for common grounds, pointing out mutual points of agreement between, two or three prominent gurus in a particular field. What others have found and what you think, and then advancing your own point in the argument. Yeah? Now, these are the approaches in writing your problem statement. Now, in my experience, the 5 steps to problem solving that we conduct at our workplace and the thesis are almost the same. These are 5 steps in the problem solving process that we apply in the industry in our daily job. We identify a problem, we generate potential solution, choose one solution, analyze the solution, and evaluate the result. This is what I've been doing 14 years while I was working in Intel. Every time I come across an issue, a problem, I use these 5 steps problem solving method. Then when I took up my PhD, well, it is still the same. Identifying the problem, this is where I come writing my chapter 1. Introduction, problem statement in introduction, chapter 1. Generate potential solution in PhD, chapter 2. Generate all the literature review, all the previous study in this field, what they have studied, what they have said, what they claim, what they have argued. Step 3, choose one solution. Here in the thesis methodology, chapter 3, you look for the best methodology research design. What would be the best way? Step 4, analyzing the solution. Here in chapter 4, finding and discussion. Yeah, in chapter 4, it's all about finding and discussion. Chapter 5, in problem solving, we evaluate the result and also look for the next step. Here in research, PhD research, chapter 5, you look for conclusion and recommendation. That's the chapter 5. So do you see how much they are aligned? So when you go through a PhD process, you are indirectly going to enhance your problem-solving skills in your workplace. So it is not just for the fulfillment of your PhD title, but it's also going to help you. For those of you who believe that you want to retain back in the industry, this is the best approach for you. Yeah. Now let's look at this. PhD is a huge learning curve. I'm sure you will agree with me. It's a huge learning curve. Write early as often. When you start your PhD, immediately start writing. Set a working title for the thesis to help you to focus. Don't worry, you will have to keep on changing your title again and again and again and again, many times. It will need tweaking towards the end. And then you end up going to your Viva or going to your PD, proposal defense. Then the examiner says, you need to tweak a bit your title. Well, that's fine. Not an issue. Take your time over the literature review. Spend time on your literature review. That is very important, yeah? And literature review is not just to stop when you finish your proposal defense. Continue your literature review until you write a chapter 5. Just keep on writing, yeah? Recently, one of my students, I'm supervising her, talking about technology in higher education. Yeah? And today we are talking about digitalization in higher education. So, during the pandemic, things has changed, right? People are talking of personalized learning. People are talking about augmented reality and virtual reality in learning. We are talking about IoT in learning, teaching. Yeah? So these are all the new things. We are talking about gamification in learning. So it cannot stop. So take your time over the literature review. These will form the basis of your argument. Then start using reference managers. For those of you who are just starting a PhD, this is the best. Well, during my time, 2001, I don't have this all reference manager. Everything I have to do manually, check the references, looking at the comma, looking at the dots, where do I need to put? But today, you're gifted. You're very, very fortunate that you have Mendeley, you have EndNote, yeah, to support you. So you should never go wrong using this, yeah? Or you can go to Google Scholar, you just click the colon, pop, you get it. You get the APA standards, yeah? And you can put it there. Life is so easy, yeah, today. Try to accept imperfection. I've seen some students, I don't know why. Why are you getting so worried when people comment about your study? When people comment about your work, your progress? Accept it. Nobody is perfect. Even your professor is not perfect. He is also going through the learning curve. So what's wrong? Just accept the imperfection. If people comment and say, well, I think you have to make these changes. Well, I think there's some weaknesses over here. Take it. No problem. Accept it. Later, go take it up for a discussion with your supervisor. Yeah. Don't think about making it perfect and then pushing out your proposal defense more than 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. You're still working on your proposal defense. Don't do that. You will never come to perfection. Yeah. Even up to today, if I look back into my PhD work, which I completed in 2005, I can see a lot of weaknesses in my work, even though I passed my PhD. Yeah. So don't try to accept imperfection. Do not miss deadline just because you're trying to polish it up to make it look perfect. Please. Yeah. Now again, PhD is a huge learning curve. Plan, 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 plan. Plan your work. Yeah. Plan your work. Yeah. You're working, you got a family, you got a work setting environment, and then you are a PhD student. Yeah. So you have to have a plan. Yeah. Organize your space. Yeah. I use the word space because at the workplace, you got a place, office to sit. University, you come to the PhD launch. there's another space. Back home, you got another space. So organize your space. Yeah. This is where you're going to spend hours and hours and hours. Organize. Yeah. For the next coming 4 to 5 years, you're going to spend your time in this space. So organize it. Make it look welcoming you. Yeah. Learn something new all the time. Make it a habit. Yeah. That you must learn something new. I mean, it can be an article, it can be a post, it can be a report from the Big Four consulting group, or in Google Scholar, a topic that related to you. All the time, try to learn something new. Yeah. Try to keep in mind you are supposed to be learning and keep improving your skill sets. Yeah. New softwares, PLS, SPSS, maybe there's some more for qualitative study. Yeah. Could you learn how to analyze your data differently? Yeah. Maybe you need to start to practicing writing skills. Then build a functional relationship with your supervisor. Take note, I put there functional relationship. You got a function to play. You got a role to play. You are both working towards the same goal. He cannot be working in that direction, you work in that direction. So try to keep it professional and constructive. Yeah? And make sure that you understand what is expected of you from your supervisor. That's very important. Relationship with the supervisor. Yeah. And do not think that your supervisor is the expert in the field. You are the expert in the field. Supervisor is an expert in the process of guiding you. Try to have some fun. Also balance up. Yeah. This is where we call you for the colloquium in Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Yeah. 3 times in a year, we call you for colloquium. Why? We want you to have fun. Meeting up with your peers. Your peers will come and share with you. The last quarter, I didn't do my work well. But then, when this quarter, I need to accelerate, so I need to put more time. Come, let's go for Starbucks. The PhD are difficult and sometimes stressful. I know it. Yeah. But they are also a special time in your life. When you get to work independently on something you find fascinating, in the company of like-minded people, your peers. So try to have fun, yeah, while you're working on that. All right, guys, that's my session today, talking to you about PhD wisdom. Nothing technical, but just trying to give you a picture about what is PhD, what is the purpose of doing PhD, the processes involved in PhD, yeah, and the most important, the heart of the PhD, the problem statement, which is also your title, which is also your aim or the purpose of the study. So I'm done. I open for question and answer. If you have any, please. How, Dr. Khairi, you're going to organize the question answer? Are you going to get them to put into the chat box?
Yes, and we will allow a couple of questions. You can either turn on your mic and ask, or you can put in the chat. There's nothing so far in the chat.
Right.
Anybody wants to make any comments or remark?
Hello, Salam alaikum, sir.
Salam,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, Majid, sir.
Yes.
I want to thank the president and the organizer of this program for us. I think we are having a spirit of belonging now. We now feel at home, from those of us coming from Africa, that where we know how PhD is being run in Africa, and then we could take more than the normal due here because there's no motivation, there is no encouragement from both parties. Sir, my question is, a student that started writing from the beginning, and he could not find a supporting theory to back up his work. maybe there has been a theory that has been used for maybe 20 years back, and the theory has not been updated. Is he allowed to use that theory to back up his work in this present era, or he leaves it the way it is? That's my question, sir.
Okay, good. Now, yes, we need you to have a theory at PhD to connect to your variables. After your literature review, you are connecting your variables, right? Your factors or your determinants. So you need to have a theory. The theory will bind. Yeah, the theory will bind you. Yes. You may not get a perfect theory.
You can either turn on your mic and
okay. You may not get a perfect theory that matches to what you are putting on the framework, the theoretical framework. But you can always choose the theory that is more likely to be connected. Yeah. More likely to be connected. Yeah. To the framework. The idea of the theory is to connect all your variables to the predictor. Yeah. Putting it together. That is the idea of the theory. And you cannot get a theory that is perfectly 100% matching. Like technology acceptance theory. Today, you find anyone doing a study on technology, they will use technology acceptance theory. Anyone doing a study on the company inside efficiency or effectiveness, talking about the functional, they will always take the value chain. Yeah. And those who are studying about bottleneck, blah, 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 and so on, they'll look at the theory of constraint. Yeah. So you cannot be getting a perfect theory. Now, the other question is you ask, can I use a theory that was used 20 years ago? Of course, until today, people still use the theory of gravity. Yeah. Yes, not an issue. You can always use theories. Theories are theories proven over time again and again and again. Even after 20, 30, 40 years, they are still proven to be true. That's what they call it as theory. Yep. So no problem, you can still use them. Right. There's another question here talking about, can you give us the best practice of how to write a research question? Okay. Anyway, I plan to take up the second series of talking about the purpose of study, the main objective, the primary objective, and specific objective and research question in my series number 2. However, since you asked now, I'll just give you a little bit. Very straightforward. When you are writing your problem statement, so what are you actually going to ask in your study based on the problem statement? For example, if you're talking about supply chain responsiveness, yeah, so then your question should be addressing what is supply chain responsiveness in the manufacturing sector, for example. Yeah. Maybe the next question will be, what is the extent of supply chain responsiveness that has been adopted by the manufacturing sectors in Malaysia? The next research question, what are the key determinants of supply chain responsiveness? Yeah. So you go from there. Yeah. So it all starts from your problem statement. Then you have the aim or the primary purpose of the study. Then from there you go down. From your specific objective, if you have 5 specific objectives, then you try to have 5 research questions. All right. Now let me move on to the next question by Danish. It is better to publish research paper in low category or high category. Of course, if you are academicians, we expect you to publish in a high category, yeah? Top tier journals. But if you are a beginner, then we expect you, we encourage you to publish paper at least in an international conference. Get it going first, yeah? Get it going, yeah? The idea is to have the momentum. Start something small. Start something small and keep going, yeah? Yeah. While you're a PhD student, why? Because while you're a PhD student, you will be guided. You'll be well guided by a supervisor. Yeah. He will guide you. So just keep the momentum going. That is the idea why Malaysia University of Science and Technology, all PhD students need to learn to publish paper. Yeah. It's important for us to publish paper. Yep. Barry, thank you, Dr. Prem, for your thoughts and motivating message. What do you think are the top 3 mistakes which students tend to commit? Okay. Well, mistakes students tend to commit. I would say it's not mistake. Sometimes in oversight. Students beginning, they'll say, okay, sir, I commit every day. I want to study 3 hours on my PhD. Yeah? For me, don't quantify your commitment hours for your studies, yeah? But have a schedule. For example, in a week, I will focus on, okay, 5 papers or something like that. Normally, this one of the first mistake that I have seen, which I myself have done. The second thing is always being satisfied with what you produce. Yeah. In my case, when I wrote for my proposal defense, I wrote 120 pages. I thought it is perfect. I took those proposal defense draft to my supervisor, gave it to him, and my supervisor said, come back and see me in 2 weeks' time. When I went in after 2 weeks, he gave me my 120 pages right up, and he just put it on the table. Take it. Not meeting my expectations. I thought the number of pages met his expectation, but not actually. Okay, so you need to understand and build a functional relationship with the supervisor. Yeah, please, the functional relationship is absolutely important. Yeah, understand your supervisor. What is he looking at for the proposal defense? Yeah, and work along. Nothing wrong asking him, sir, can you give me a sample of proposal defense write-up? Nothing wrong in asking him, can you please give me a sample of a PowerPoint presentation by a student for proposal defense? Good one. Nothing wrong. Yeah. So those are things that I've seen mistakes normally student does. Yeah. Govind, what's your advice when the students struggle illustrating chapter 4 when they are not from statistical background? Very simple. Even me, when I was doing my chapter 4, I was not good in my statistics. I have to go ask assistance from a statistician. Yep. If you're not too sure about your analysis, nothing is wrong. Ask someone to help you. Yeah. But the someone helps you, he will crunch the data, put it. But interpretation is yours. The interpretation is yours. So you need to interpret the data. Because in the proposal defense, sorry, in the Viva, the person who did the statistical analysis will not come and assist you. You won't answer the question. So you have to. Interpretation is absolutely important. Every interpretation you should know. Yeah. So you have to own the responsibility of that. Okay. Good. Any further question?
Okay, well, while there's a lull in the questions, we want to tell you that we will be posting the evaluation form in the chat. So please, you click on that and fill in the evaluation form anytime between now and we finish the session. And then those of you who do that will get the e-certificate as well for this session. Okay, we give few more seconds if there's anybody else have any question.
So
otherwise
just for the sharing, for the purpose of knowing the background of this session of PhD wisdom, this is session 1. Yeah. So we plan to take up session 1, session 2. We'll continue until we finish chapter 5. So I don't know how many sessions it will go, but this is our commitment to you. For all PhD students, not only for must students, even for external. You're welcome to invite your colleagues from other universities also to join us. No worries, please. Yeah, this is just a sharing of knowledge. Practical aspect is not a research methodology class. It's practical aspect of conducting a PhD, going through a PhD process. So that's why I put it as wisdom. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. If there's no more further questions, you have anything else as a closing, Prof. Prem?
Oh, thank you very much for coming in for this session. Well, it was interesting to have all of you here, almost 100 of you here in the session. And let's look forward for building a better PhD, a PhD of a world class, yeah, a world class PhD, so that all of us can, have what you call benefit, yeah, benefit from the output of PhD coming from university, yeah, Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Yeah, and as we are going forward for EQUIS and AACSB, I think we need to continue to build our quality. Today, we are happy that we have got a membership of EQUIS, membership of AACSB. Yeah, so we have to continue to build our quality, and these are all part of the process of quality assurance. All right. With that note, thank you very much, Dr. Khairi, and I look forward seeing you all in another 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, for the next series.
Thank you, Prof. Prem, for that short and inspiring talk. And we have a lot of questions from the audience as well. And thank you for everyone who participated in this session. We look forward to seeing you in the next session, Series 2 of the talk in September. We'll inform you of the details. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.